At least 25 people have been killed and dozens injured in an attack on Afghanistan's biggest military hospital in Kabul. A Taliban spokesman said there had been 2 explosions outside the building before gunmen entered. Tonight, the Islamic State group has claimed it carried out the attack.
Afghans had hoped scenes like this would come to an end, now that the Taliban are in power. Instead, their fighters were amongst the victims of this attack, carried out by the local branch of the Islamic State group, or Daesh. The assault began with a suicide bombing, before gunmen tried to fight their way inside the military hospital. Helicopters were used to drop Taliban special forces into the site, according to the group.
There are satellite images, and what they appear to show is rapid construction at several suspected silo fields in China that could eventually launch nuclear weapons. All of this as the country is also significantly bolstering its military capabilities.
Yeah, so basically, we knew that there are now about 3 missile silo fields in China, and these missile silo fields could be used eventually to launch nuclear weapons. That's why they are so concerning, the fact that China is building these up. What these new images today show us, they're commercial satellite images, they demonstrate that China is putting a tremendous amount of resources and efforts into developing them. This isn't a slow project. This is a very rapid development. And the authors of this report from the Federation of American Scientists called this an unprecedented nuclear buildup by China.
At least 16 people are now confirmed dead in Lagos, Nigeria, after the collapse of a high-rise building under construction. Rescuers are searching for dozens of people who are still missing. The state government has launched an investigation into the cause of the collapse. Authorities say developers only had approval for 15 floors but built 21.
Pulled out alive from the rubble. Emergency crews don't know how many more people are trapped. The building was under construction when it collapsed. Still, the rescues have given hope to some.
Rebels in Tigray say they are advancing further south towards the capital Addis Ababa. The federal government has declared a nationwide state of emergency. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has asked all Ethiopians to mobilize and fight back against the rebels. In just a few days, the rebels from the northern Tigray state say they have seized the towns of Desay and Kombolcha, which are in the neighboring Amhara state. The two are on a major highway leading to the capital. The federal government has disputed those claims.
The families of Sheikh Jarrah had been given a month to consider a compromise deal on their fate. On Tuesday, they returned their decision.
We rejected the proposal by the Israeli Supreme Court, which would have rendered us protected tenants at the mercy of settler organizations. We stand firm in our refusal to compromise on our rights.
The homes were awarded to Palestinian refugee families under Jordanian rule in the 1950s. But a Jewish settler organization claims it has ownership rights over the land, a claim endorsed by Israeli court rulings. Rather than issue a final verdict, the Supreme Court had wanted the families to accept protected tenancy status for up to 3 generations while they continued to make their own ownership case.
India's healthcare system is contending with another disease, dengue fever. There's an outbreak across northern India. In the capital of Delhi, some hospitals are running out of beds and doctors are turning away patients.
Delhi hospitals are filling up again, this time with dengue patients. Doctors say complaints of high fever and body aches spiked in October. Over 1,000 cases have been reported in Delhi alone.
Facebook announced on Tuesday it is shutting down its facial recognition system, which automatically identifies users in photos and videos. The company cited growing societal concerns about the use of such technology. In a blog post, Facebook's vice president of artificial intelligence wrote that while the technology had many beneficial uses, quote, its long-term role in society needs to be debated in the open. The removal of facial recognition by the world's largest social media platform comes as the tech industry has faced a reckoning over the past few years over the ethics of using the technology. Critics say facial recognition, which is popular among retailers, hospitals, and other businesses for security purposes, could compromise privacy, target marginalized groups, and normalize intrusive surveillance.
The South Korean government is set to inject some $1.2 billion by 2030 into developing technology for carbon capture and storage technology. It said on Thursday that about 1/3 of the money will go into securing underground storage sites, which will hold up to 900 million tons of CO2. The rest will mostly be used for developing the technologies required for operating those sites, as well as increasing storage efficiency so that they can store over 1 billion tons of CO2 in total. That's equivalent to about 2 years of South Korea's emissions. This is part of the country's efforts to go carbon neutral by 2050.